We'll also have online, I think we have him online. Right, Charles Rubia is on phone. We have him again. Charles Rubia, of course, is among the key second liberation heroes. We talked to him earlier on, saying, the few remaining actually, saying how bad he feels that he has been left alone. I don't know when is the last time you actually spoke to Charles Rubia. But Charles, let's get back to you. Again, you can hear a lot of SMSs of people saying how Kenyans and Kenya in general like to recognize such people, including you, but recognizing Matiba now in his death and did nothing really when he was alive. We've also heard from Njeru Kathangu. You know him very well. But do you yourself hold any grudges against this country, any government, any regime, or generally what has happened to you over the years?
Well, I can tell you, I feel very sad about Kenneth's demise. As I said earlier, spiritually I feel that I'm alone. Because although there are very many of us fighting for multi-party, it was only Matiba and I who were at the pinnacle of the multi-party democracy crusade. And we suffered our health also in detention together. That's why what I think of the present situation, I think the country has, in a way, to be very careful, for we should never allow any possibility of dictatorship coming back into Kenya. I am not satisfied with what I hear and see in the political arena now.
Right.
There is too much working for each individual politician for the benefit of that personality, and the ordinary mwananchi is still suffering economically and even socially. So in a way, although democracy as a multi-party has come, it is very badly managed. It should be improved. And I say quite clearly, I'm disappointed with some of the events that are going on in the country today. I can see dictatorship creeping in. This question of forming coalitions before the elections is a very dangerous move, because that will mean that the majority, because of their coalition, will be in power all the time. In my view, coalitions should be formed after the elections, not before. And as I see today, this gagging up of so-called groups, be they Jubilee, be they NASA, those are all politicians getting together, and in that way we will have back dictatorship in this country.
Right.
And that must not be allowed to happen. Secondly, the ordinary mwananchi is still suffering. For example, there are still many people who were displaced during the 2007, 2008. They are still in the villages. And people are playing around with words in parliament, in the other areas of politics, talking of big money all the time, but nothing is going to that ordinary mwananchi. And I think we must now speak out clearly. We do not want dictatorship again. Okay?
Right. And it's the same thing Njeru was also talking about here, that most politicians or anybody else with an opinion in this country is captive of either Jubilee
or NASA. In fact, there is something I would like to share or remind my brother, senior brother, Rubia, that I like the choice of word pinnacle.
Yes.
pinnacle. Because you see, the two of them, Kenneth Matiba and Charles Rubia, went out in May, I think May 22nd or something like that, to announce Mount Paternal Crusade.
Yes.
But there was a lot of work before then that had gone on from 1988 when Matiba was disgraced and Charles Nyachai and even Mwai Kibaki and so forth. And that, in fact, is what provoked us into forming the movement. And just about the end of 1988, we developed what we called the Manifesto for Change, which we sold to Rubia and Matiba and Nyachai, wherever they are. And I think they are great men in this country. What I want to say is this. I agree with him that there is a lot that we are going to ignore which may assist to usher in dictatorship in this country. And we must stop it and use every effort by every citizen to make sure that it doesn't come in. For example, we have said that Kenya is a constitutional country. Kenya therefore follows the law. It is actually in bad taste, even for parliament, to appreciate that they made laws and then the executive does not respect them and the judiciary still pushes for them to be respected because it is the interpreting arm of government. Now, when the executive does not respect the law, in fact, that is worse dictatorship than anything else.
All right.
You had better pretend than decline law.
All right. Charles Rubia, if you can comment about that as well. Plus, many of the young people that may be watching this may not really know much or a lot about the struggles you all went through together with the late Matiba, and I'm using that word may.
Yes.
May not have known. Or I mean, may just have had the name but not really appreciated his role. What would you say to them?
You mean the young people?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we went through really difficult times. As you all know, Matiba developed this illness while in detention. He had a stroke, I think. I myself was released from detention, a very sick man. And it was my doctor who straight away admitted me in Nairobi Hospital and eventually went to London for a very serious operation. So those were, in my view, indications that we were meant to die in detention. And therefore, it was a very difficult time. What I would say is this, with regard to the division of power, the judiciary, the executive, the parliament. Parliament should never interfere with the judiciary work. Neither should judiciary work interfere with the executive. And I think there is this interference right now, which will mean very soon dictatorship will be here. And I think time has come. All those three arms of government must sit down and remove any little problems they may have, because the monarchy is suffering right now. They meet, they talk, and all the time they are paid for it. And the monarchy is having no problem, a lot of problems in hospitals, in schools, in businesses, and in settlements like urban development. You can see a lot of people in these shanties now. That is very dangerous.
Right.
And I will tell the young people this.
Yes.
It is your country now to manage. If you don't do it properly, you will be the only one to blame. My view is you stand up and say no more dictatorship and no more exploitation by those in power against the poor people. The MPs and the senators and the MCAs are very highly paid. From Mwananchi's practice, that is a good example of what I'm saying. The young people must wake up and say, cannot go on. You'll be surprised to know, and you must know, that President of the United States earns less than our own president here. That is a good piece of fact. The Prime Minister of Britain earns less than our own ministers here. India, the same. So if people don't wake up and don't shout and say, end to this exploitation, there'll be a lot of trouble. A member of parliament today has to be paid, I understand, 800,000 a month, and plus his other sitting arrangements and whatever you call them, and up to like the 1.2 million. Now, that to me is really robbing the taxpayer.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. Do you want me to say more?
We'll definitely be getting more from you, Charles Rubia, tomorrow and the day after. We'll be talking to you. I'm actually preempting already what we are planning, but yes, we'll be talking to you and getting more of, especially your experiences and those that people don't know publicly that you shared with the late Matiba in incarceration. But thank you so much. Thank you so much, and our condolences to you, Charles Rubia. We have, this is from another second liberation hero, Itobi Manyara, who says, let the people not shed crocodile tears. I'm really very sad on what I'm seeing now. Kenneth Matiba has been alive with us. Despite his sacrifices and suffering, he was not appreciated. If you can talk about that. And finally, again, the same question I asked Charles Rubia in terms of the young generation.
Yes.
And you are also, I mean, your experiences, there's things we've seen about Matiba publicly.
Yes.
There's some of those things you know because of the privilege you had of being very close to him privately that maybe you can share with us.
Yeah. The very first thing I would like to tell the young people is that this movement about multi-party now starts in 1988. And the reason why that it was culminating then is because a lot of public figures had been disgraced from government, and therefore they felt that they were going to join our side. Mm-hmm. Now, so 1988, after the disgrace, in 1989 we started campaigns, very vigorous campaign about why the country must change. And the reason why we were campaigning this way is because also the iron gates and the iron curtains of the East are broken down. That, for example, the war in Germany had come down, right? Mm-hmm. And we said, this is the time. Okay. Some of the people that we must actually always remember include Bishop Okulu. Bishop Okulu of Kisumu, and Timothy Njoya, you know, the same man that has been singing songs about liberation and freedom and rights of the people is still around here. And those two assisted us a lot, so that in December, throughout December of 1989, they continued to say that we must follow the democratizing wind of the East, so which was blowing from the north to the south. Right. Now, one thing that is important for the young people to know is this: it is not correct for a young person anywhere on earth to wait to be told without thinking. They have to think. They have to innovate. They have to create. They have to pioneer, for their brains are more active than the old ones. And therefore, majority of the young people in the 90s were extremely active. And that is how Charles Rubia, Kenneth Matiba, Simeon Nyachai joined us to say that these young people have to be assisted And that is how Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, John Jindenge, and others came in to say, now that we have got these young people pushing for this, they are going to be in trouble if we don't support them. Right? Okay. And therefore, according to me, the older people should provide the role model, while the warriors of the nation should continue to be the young people. Otherwise, the country will be lost. And if you continue to ape and follow aimlessly, then you are going to have a dictatorship within you very soon.
Njeru Kathangu is the Secretary General for the Asili. He's worked with the late Matiba, who, when he was party leader, another second liberation hero, and former Bunyanja's MP. Wise words you've heard for us tonight and for the country. We thank you so much.
Thank
and
you,
our condolences.
Asante.
Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And
Great.
keep talking to us. The hashtag is Sunday Live. Text us on double 242. Very briefly, this is a condolence message from Governor Anne Waiguru. Kirinyaga County Governor says, Kenneth Matiba will forever be remembered for his fight for multi-party democracy and rule of law. Kenya has lost a political icon and a strong defender of democracy. May God comfort his family, friends, and the people of Kirinyaga. Governor Waiguru goes ahead to say, rest in peace, Kenneth Matiba. And Nairobi County Speaker, Honorable Irachi, says, my sincere condolences to the hero who made us grow in multi-party democracy. As students, he gave us hope that indeed Kenya is changing. May our God give, of course, she's talking about the widow now. To Mom, may our God give you strength during this trying time. God bless. That is Speaker Beatrice Elachi. Keep talking to us. We're taking a short break now. We'll be back with more after this break. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. We'll call you again.